Hey guys, Brian Fisher with Edge Fitness on another Recovery Wednesday, and hope you're having an awesome day so far. Kind of getting into that midweek groove. We hit on a few points last week about recovery and wanting to go into a little bit of a deeper dive on some different topics. We say the movement, nutrition, recovery, mindset. Those four pillars all come together. Think of it again like a table. That table has four good sturdy legs. It can hold up to stress. It's balanced. It can take on some strain, whatever you place on it, whatever you want to put around it. That's how well you're going to be able to recover, is that balance of those four pillars. Recovery being its own pillar, but each one influences the other. Your movement's going to increase or influence your recovery. Your recovery is going to influence your movement. Same with nutrition, same with your mindset. Recovery is going to influence each one of those and vice versa. So we're going into how your movement and your recovery kind of specifically work together, and what are some different things in that movement category that we want to focus on. How we do things with our training, as well as things that you can do on your own. Maybe some of it's some things you've heard before. Others are hopefully going to be some new things, or maybe some reinforcement of different things, a new way of thinking about it. I'm not going to be an hour and a half long podcast, anything like that. It's just going to be a little bit of a shallow deep dive, if I can say that. Correct me on that one, but if you feel like it. But we're going to go into just some basics on things that you can do and pull the curtain back on how we look at programming from a couple ideas of, one, athletic sustainability. Being able to do athletic things, the things that you want and need to do with your body. We're all athletes. And we're just different athletes. We're athletes of daily living. We're executive athletes. We might be high school, collegiate, professional athletes, all across the board that we get to see and work with here on both the massage and the training side of things. So it's awesome to see all those different bodies and how we want to use them. So if we think of athletic sustainability, that is being able to go through, do your training, do your workout for that day, get better from that. But that's just 1 hour potentially, and we're going to do easy math here, 1 hour out of 24 hours. What are you doing the other 23 hours of the day? Then we have to look at that impact. Most people we see here come in 2-3 times a week. Okay? So we'll go with twice a week for simple math. You're going to do that third session on your own. We'll talk about some of that. That 2 hours a week that you have, you get that third one in for your 3 dedicated times, 3 hours out of a 168-hour week. What are you doing those other 165 hours? Really influences those 3 hours, and what you do in those 3 hours can have a huge impact on the other 165. So it's a lot of math, but stick with me as we go through this, because it's important to know how your body is meant to last, not just for, I'm going to give everything I got and give 100%. I don't think Michael Jordan said he never gave 100%. Many athletes know that. If you give 100% when you're in the gym or you're on the court, you're on the field, whatever it is, what are you going to do for the other 23 hours? Again, that easy math of 1 hour in the gym, 23 hours out. You just shot yourself all of it, gave everything you got, leave it all on the floor in the gym. You crawled out of the gym in a pool of blood and sweat and tears because you gave so much. Don't ever do that, please. Don't ever do that. In competition, you can go all out, but that competition better be worth it. Lots of ways to spin that, but you never give 100% with that, because if you give 100%, what happens if you're only 60% recovered for that day? Okay? If you're 60% recovered and you give what you might normally want to give on that day, well, now you're in the hole by 40%. Now everything else that you do is going to create an even bigger gap, so that strain, okay? We talked a little bit about some of the recovery devices that are out there. We'll get into that in a minute here on listening to your body. You need some objective help, either from another source like a trainer, or your Whoop strap, or another Fitbit, or Garmin, or whatever you use, Apple Watch, to track your recovery, your strain, your sleep, all of those variables to help you make the best decisions, so you know, wow, I am only 60% recovered today. I need to adjust, auto-regulate, where am I at that day, to decide what are you going to do. Okay? And different ways to do that are, you probably heard things like, well, let's dive in. Planning an active recovery day. From a movement standpoint, there's active recovery, passive recovery. Active, as the name implies, involves some form of movement as part of it. Going for a walk, doing some hiking, if you like to do that. A light jog, a nice easy ride on the bike, just something light in the gym. You can still come in and lift, but doing something a little bit lighter. Some days are going to maybe be heavy, maybe a deliberate active recovery day. It's lighter in terms of your reps, your sets, the intensity of how hard you're pushing with the weight on that if you track that way as well. Having a sports or play day, go out into the backyard, throw the ball around, kick the soccer ball around, shoot some hoops, do something fun, play some pickleball, go to a yoga class, something where you're actively engaged in it to get that blood flowing, but without a lot of strain on, to increase that blood flow, get the mental juices flowing a little bit, but not at such a high level. There's a lot of central nervous system intensive strain when you are working out hard, especially with strength training. We'll talk about some of that in a moment as well as making sure that you're just, man, I'm so sore. One of the best things, if you're really sore, go move. Just some light exercise so you can get the blood flowing through there. It's going to help clear out some of the waste from the breaking down of the muscles, that's causing the soreness, and bring in more of the nutrients, the parts that your piece of your body needs to help recover. That's the goal of those active recovery days. Planning those in. If you go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, having a set schedule on your times in the gym, okay, then you know that Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, you got time. Yard work can be active recovery day. Plan those in, schedule it in, get others involved. Those are some of those build better habits basics. These are ways to reinforce and strengthen your habits, because when you do something like this on your own, you're reinforcing movement is important to me, activity is important to me, finding that greater purpose with it is important to me, to be able to not just do those 3 days, but get in some on your own as well. So if it's reinforcing some habits you're maybe already doing, but again, getting blood flowing, decreasing that muscle soreness, bringing down that mental strain by, that was nice and light. You go into work and every day is you're running around with your hair on fire. You can't sustain that intensity, maybe for a brief period of time for a big project or something, but other days you come in, it's like, yeah, I sent a couple emails, had a nice easy meeting, did a few phone calls. It was kind of a nice relaxing day. I feel good. Now I feel more prepared for a harder day the next time. But again, heavy days, medium days, light days, varying that intensity. We'll talk about more of that here in a little bit, but part of that is planning those active recovery days, getting that in. Not saying passive recovery is not good. It's good to have one complete rest day, your schedule allows, where you just do nothing. Go get a massage. I know a good massage therapist, a couple of them here at the office if you need something like that. Go to a yoga class that can, real gentle, restorative yoga class can really be quasi-active recovery into that passive recovery. We talked about some of the compression therapy, there's red light therapy, there's breathing, there's meditation, lots of things that you can do where you don't really move, you relax, you chill, brings everything down, but does help you to recover so you're more ready, more prepared to train again. Training is when you break your body down. You can only train as much as you can recover. Recover builds your body back up for that next bout of training in those other 23 hours, that activity you have there, as well as the training the next day or the day after that you want to do, everything else you have to do in the other 165 hours. Those are all key things that you need to pay attention to. Warm up and cool down. Are you warming up as part of your program? Preparing your mind, your body to move, to change its focus, change its activity level. You don't want to go from 0 to 60 and then that cool down. You got a good dynamic warm up, then you can do some of your stretching at the end, do some light activity. You don't want to go from 60 to 0. You want to make sure you're planning that in, even just going for a walk back and forth, talking a little bit at the end until you're, okay, that was real intense. Maybe as a finisher on the bike sprints, getting ready to recover from that by, again, not just hitting the brakes, but doing something to lightly pedal, then do a little bit of stretching afterwards. Once you can breathe, bring that heart rate down, get your mind, your body to then change focus. You don't want to go into your office meeting after your training session that you just did and you're still all cranked up after you did those bike sprints. And everyone's like, whoa, what is wrong with Brian? He is all amped up. Bring it down a notch so that way you're ready to go from where you are at work, coming in, or first thing in the morning, ramp your body up, ready to function at a higher level, and then deliberately bringing it back down so you are ready to go to work, to school, wherever you need to for that day at appropriate level on that one. Talk about varying the intensity, okay? Warming up, cooling down, you have to vary that intensity of where your body's functioning at so it's something that you do within a workout, something that you do from day to day with those active training today. Here is my heavy day, to here is my active recovery day, here's a medium day, and that can vary on, oh man, I know I feel stronger earlier in the week. Okay, maybe that's your heavy day. We work with people, we talk with them, hey, how do you feel today? What does your week look like? What's going on? Some of it's just general conversation, but that's what our goal is of what does your week look like? If it's later in the week, what has your week been like? How do you feel? Use a red light, yellow light, green light kind of approach. If you feel a green light, I am ready to go. Whoop uses it as if you're 67% recovered or above, you're in the green. If you're in that 37 to 66%, you're yellow. Proceed with caution. Maybe bring down the intensity a little bit. That's where some of that objective data really comes into play when you have some of those fitness trackers. To be able to say, today's a day where I'm in the red. I'm 36% or below. And I've had some pretty low days, and I've trained on some of those low days, and then I got sick in a couple days later. That's happened to me a couple times, once or twice. You learn from that. Sometimes it's okay. Hey, I don't have much going on the rest of this week, so I'm going to go ahead and push maybe a little bit more than I should today. I'm in the red, so I'm going to go up into kind of a yellow level intensity, not up to a green, because I don't want to crash, because I have a lot going on this weekend, a whole bunch of soccer games, birthday parties, whatever it might be. Knowing what you have coming up and what you've been through helps you make that decision on that day. Okay? If you got a big project at work and you wake up and you're in a red because you're really stressed out about it and you know there's more to come, that's one of those days where I'm just going to take an active recovery day. You know what? This has to be a passive recovery day. I'm going to shift, I'm going to listen to my body, listen to the data, and move a training day back a day. Or, hey, Ryan, I've got a lot going on. I don't have a lot to give today. Okay, let's vary that intensity. We'll bring that down to what's appropriate. Again, that you come in at 40%, we try to give 80 to 100%, that's too much. But if you come in at that 40% and we do 20 to 30, something light, now you've created some of that space where, you know what, it was something that you did, which is awesome, great, a little bit of active recovery, helps bring some of the functioning up a little bit, but it wasn't so much that you did more than what your body could handle. You can actually make some gains by playing that game of the numbers, where you're at, and staying with that buffer there, to where I'm 80%, I gave 60%, I'm 100%, and I gave 80%. You've got that leftover for everything else that you need over the course of the day and for the rest of the week. You can make some really good gains by, wow, I don't have to train as hard to see really good gains. Now, a lot goes into that. We're not going into there. There's some other times that we can talk about how all that works. That's really getting into some more sciencey stuff on the cool programming side of things. But knowing how to plan your active recovery days, how to do your warm-up, cool down, how to vary your intensity, how to listen to your body. That one is so key. You're the CEO of your body. Know what you're trying to do, know how you feel, know when to say, hey, I don't have it, hey, today I feel great, let's go. Awesome, let's go then. Use those recovery tools, okay? If you have them, use those. HRV, resting heart rate, breathing rate, those are some great things that those tools give you. If your HRV, heart rate variability, maybe we'll talk about that in another one of these videos. If that's low, then you know, hey, I should probably focus not on strength training, which can be really intensive for the brain and the body and how they work together, that central nervous system. Bring it down to some low, moderate aerobic exercise, something like that. A lower intensity day, an active recovery day. Go out and do something. You'll be amazed at how much better you feel when you take some of these tools of how recovery and movement work together to help your overall high level, the movement, nutrition, recovery mindset, that balance work in your favor, and you can find that greater purpose, see some great, awesome gains, and hopefully you guys will get some value out of this. Like, subscribe, share, give it to your friends, family, a neighbor, a coworker, someone you reasonably know or love or tolerate at least. Let them have some of this data as well and helpful information, and come back more for next time, guys. Have a great day.